Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix, and welcome to the Astrobite for the start of the week, Monday, the 10th of February. We have quite an interesting aspect to kick off this week with Mercury, our planet of communication, our planet also of thought that rules Gemini and Virgo. Mercury is currently in the sign of Aquarius, and it's making a hard aspect, a challenging aspect, a provoking aspect to Uranus that rules Aquarius, that's in Taurus. Uranus, of course, is about the unexpected, about surprise, shocks, earth movement, and we've certainly been seeing earth tremors and minor earthquakes here in the Mediterranean. Thankfully, nothing has, touch wood, affected us here in Malta and Gozo, but we are kind of on alert because Uranus, as we build up towards the full moon on Wednesday, which I'll be doing a separate Astrobite for, and my full moon video is up on my channel now, and that's got your in-depth look at what's happening at the full moon. Uranus squaring Mercury is, there's something about the opening of this week that brings surprising or shocking news. Now that could be in the news, on the world stage, and we've not been kind of immune to that over the last few weeks because since the change of administration in the United States, we've seen a lot of surprising and shocking statements coming out of America. So I think we're kind of thinking, okay, it's Monday. What's going to be delivered today? And of course, this could also be in your personal life. This can also be a breaking through, a kind of, Mercury squaring Uranus. It's almost like saying there's something you've been struggling with, maybe a decision that you need to make, and you get that extra kind of information or news, or a sudden thought comes into your mind that helps you see it in a different way, helps you see the bigger picture differently, and so it kind of makes it easier to make a decision about something. So the aspects in this chart are actually aspected from 6th to 9th house. So there is something here about service to others, our daily routine, and also Uranus being in the 9th house matters at a distance. But I do also think because Uranus is in the 9th house in Taurus, we may still hear more news about Earth movements, and we've had plenty of that. So that's just an energy that is most definitely around. And interestingly, Jupiter in Gemini, that of course is now direct, is right on the midheaven of this chart. And Jupiter is kind of spreading this kind of communicative sort of opportunities of freedom of speech borrowed from Uranus in Taurus, squaring Mercury. I think we're going to see some quite important people coming out and saying some pretty startling things today. And this could be starting a kind of debate worldwide about situations that are very delicate, shall we say, on the world stage. The other energy that we've still got hanging around today is Mars still retrograde in Cancer, where Mars is getting really rather tired now. Mars has been swimming against the flow of the ocean, of the depth of emotion that Cancer is bringing up for Mars, and is desperate for the planets to align so that he can go forwards again and get out of the water and back into the fire of Leo, the fiery energy of Leo. Well, Mars is still making this trine, helpful aspect to Saturn in Pisces. Now, Saturn in Pisces is today bringing more form to the ideas that you have, the intuitive ideas that actually you can empower yourself through going deep within. So the struggle that Mars kind of infers from being in the sign of Cancer, in the oceans of the waters of the sign of Cancer, is Saturn is saying, actually, I can help you. I can help you make sense of that which is, or senseless, makes no sense. And so there is something quite, I think, important about this energy. And the other aspect that is important today is that the moon in Leo is basically opposite Pluto, transiting Pluto in Aquarius. So the moon is at 1 degree of Leo. And I mean, we get this every month because the moon's going round every month. But the moon is making this aspect to Pluto, and Pluto is helping the moon also to make sense, to transform, to transition emotional energies of creativity. So I think there's something about today's energy. If we break it down into Mercury square Uranus, surprising energy, surprising thoughts, let's keep it on a personal level. Mars trine Saturn, trying to make sense of feelings and emotions that have been a bit at sea. It's like feeling you've been a little bit lost and out of touch with reality. And the moon coming up to be in opposition to Pluto is kind of sealing the deal. It's kind of saying, look, actually make something out of this. Be creative with your emotions. Be creative with your thinking. So that if you've been kind of knocked off course by energies that are kind of unexpected to do with the plans that you've got laid out for the next few weeks or months, because sometimes things come along and just knock us right off course. And this energy is saying, it's okay. Take it as a course direction from the cosmos. And because it's a course direction, just go with it, think creatively, and think, okay, so the universe doesn't seem to want me to go down this timeline at this time. Right, so I need to recalibrate my feelings and emotions and ideas. So again, it's this thing about not being rigid in the strong wind because it breaks us. And it leads us kind of into this word of the day, because I think, when we're knocked off course, we can sometimes be quite hard on ourselves and get we'll get down and upset and, oh God, I thought I had this all sorted out. And it seemed so clear the way things were going to kind of take place and unfold. But sometimes we have to have a little bit of sympathy for ourselves, a little bit of empathy. And sometimes it's not always down to us that plans get changed, that events happen that knock us off course or delay us, which can also be another manifestation of Saturn in Pisces, delay us from kind of putting into motion the plans that we have. Once Mars goes direct, you might see things differently and things might speed up, again in ways that you hadn't really thought of. So the word for today is actually empathy, because sometimes not only do we forget to have empathy for others, but we forget to have empathy for us. So empathy, caring. Sometimes we get so caught into, my world, my rules, my way. And the world is constructed at the moment in a way that makes it very difficult to trust people who are kind, because kindness sometimes can be a cover for something underhand. And a lot of the cosmic energy at the moment can indicate deception and not seeing things clearly, with Neptune moving towards the anoretic, the powerful end point of Pisces. Neptune makes things kind of unclear. So Moshin Hamid said, empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. And when we do that, when we kind of see through that facade, it can help us connect with that person and say something, or actually even not say something, just connect in a way that they feel your care, your kindness, your empathy, and so that we see their authenticity. Marcus Aurelius said, whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I'm about to criticize? And that's all about projection, isn't it? Meryl Streep said, the great gift of human beings is that we have the power of empathy. It's just we don't always use it. And I think that, with everything that we get fed on all the different news channels, so that sometimes it's difficult to ascertain what is truth and what is false. It's difficult. We get sanitized against suffering, hardship, famine, illness, plague, death, war. We get sanitized against it. We see it and we don't realize that these are real people really suffering. And this is where, if the whole of the human race and consciousness can make this shift back to empathy and love for another, whatever their creed, whatever their religion, whatever their beliefs, but to see that spark of the divine in the other, then we can make great headway in changing the whole way that civilization can proceed. Frank Tiger said, spelt Tyger, I wonder if he is or was a tiger, there is no greater loan than a sympathetic ear. And that's true. And Mother Teresa said, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. And that really fits in, doesn't it, with what I'm saying about if only we can see through the sanitization of what we're shown on news feeds, news media. Henry David Thoreau said, could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? That reminds me of the exercise I told you a few videos ago, where you can, where you sit for 5 minutes and look into somebody's eyes very deeply. It's an extraordinary experience, and you connect on a level which is deep, which is why we don't do it, because I think we get anxious that we're going to get lost, that we will lose ourselves in the other and feel feelings and feel what they feel in a way that is difficult for us to manage. Oprah Winfrey said, leadership is about empathy. It is about having the ability to relate to and connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. As I say that, I was thinking about many of the world leaders, and, you know, I'm not sure I can think of even one that shows signs of empathy. Just my opinion. Susan Sarandon said, when you start to develop your powers of empathy and imagination, the whole world opens up to you. And Alfred Adler said, empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, said Bill Bullard. The highest form of knowledge is empathy. And you know, if we just go back to this main transit today about Mercury squaring Uranus, whatever shocking news might appear today, whether it's on a personal level or on an international level, try and just pause for a moment. Don't judge. Try and find that inner spark of your humanity and have sympathy and empathy. So that's our word for the day. How about that then? Well, so I will be back again very soon with another Astrobite. And remember, we are full in this full moon energy. So make a note perhaps of how you're feeling and how it's affecting you, because it's a powerful one, this Leo full moon. And we may see some literal earth movements with earthquakes. So let's see what unfolds this week. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me for this Astrobite. Please remember, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe. And I really look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Bye.